Shokz are back, and these only cost £169. I've tested loads of headphones and earbuds this year, but I know there's quite a few people out there who just want a pair that are perfect for running, for working out, for walking around the house, for walking the dog, and you don't want a pair that have active noise cancelling and a charging case and spatial audio and all these features that jack up the price. And in fact, you want a pair that have, for example, the best possible transparency mode, because you want to know what's going on in the world around you. The good news is Shokz has been doing this for years with their bone conducting and open ear headphones, and this is the latest pair. These are the Open Run Pro 2, and I think if you're watching this video, they could be absolutely perfect for you. And to help you make that buying decision, I've enlisted the services of a proper athlete in this one to give us his feedback on what these are like. Now, this video is sponsored by Shokz, but every single opinion you're about to hear is my own, so let's get into the specs and the pricing. So the Open Run Pro 2 are an open ear headphone design, which does require a bit of explanation, which I'll come on to in a moment, but they feature bone conduction drivers for the mids and the highs, and they have air conduction drivers for the deep bass. They've got nickel titanium ear hooks, a wraparound band, and they have 16% less clamping force than the predecessors. They're also IP55 water resistant for sweat, rain and splashes, and they have dual mics with wind resistance for calls. In terms of battery life, we get 12 hours of music playback, and a 5-minute fast charge provides 2.5 hours of playback. And yes, they have USB-C charging, not a proprietary charger. Bluetooth is 5.3 with multi-point pairing and a 10-meter range, and they're available in standard and mini sizes. The new Shokz app update is fantastic as well. There's now a customizable EQ with 4 preset modes: standard, vocal, bass boost and treble boost, but you can also dial in your own EQ with a 5-band equalizer, so you can really get these headphones sounding just the way you like them. The price is £169 as mentioned earlier, and you can buy them now. When it comes to fit and comfort, I think these kind of bone conducting headphones are amongst the most comfortable on the market because, well, they don't sit on your head for starters, so there's no clamping force here at all. They just hook around your ears, and you get this band that goes around the back of your neck. And the key thing is, nothing goes into your ears. There's nothing protruding into my ear canal, which means you can hear everything. The way this works is that the driver here rests on the bone just before your ear, which has got a name, I'm sure, but I don't know what it is. But it sits very safely on that bone, and it plays music through the driver, which is just picked up by your bone and transported into your brain. It's completely safe, it doesn't hurt, there's no danger with this at all. It's just vibrations. There's nothing wrong with this. It's one of the most natural ways to listen to any kind of audio. That's the key thing. I'll come on to what that audio is like in a moment, but in terms of the fit and the comfort, you can wear these all day. And because they don't go into your ears, there's some massive benefits. The first one is that all-day comfort, and a lot of earbuds and headphones claim to be all day, but I can guarantee most of them start to fatigue after a while, and the reason for that is because they're either clamping around your ears and they kind of make your ears feel a bit tired after a while, or they're going into your ears, and that can be very uncomfortable after long listening sections. Technically, you can wear these all day and you barely know they're there. The next one is a bit gross, but it needs to be mentioned because it's a thing. You don't get any earwax or sweat buildup in your ear with these because they don't go into your ear. So again, if you're used to using earbuds, I won't go into too much detail, but basically if the earbuds are in your ears and you're doing lots of working out and you're getting very hot and sweaty, sweat can build up and that can feel uncomfortable. It ruins the sound and it makes horrible noises. Earwax, you know what that's all about. Well, maybe you don't personally, but anyway, I'll stop digging this hole. And basically, that doesn't happen. Neither of those gross things happens with these. The third thing is that these have the best transparency mode ever. So if you compare them with active noise cancelling earbuds, where you turn transparency mode on and it lets in the world, but it does it in a kind of weird, muffled, synthesized way. You don't get that with these because your ears are completely unobstructed, which means you can just hear everything normally. And that makes a massive difference if you want to be aware of your surroundings, or if you're at home looking after your kid and you want to listen to your favourite podcast, but you also want to hear when something horrendous happens in the other room so you can go and tend to your broken TV. I then gave these to Niall, who works for this business but who's also an athlete, and he took them to the track.
Hello, so I've been trying out the Shokz Open Run Pro 2 headphones for the last 2 or so weeks now. I've been trying them on track, on the road, doing tempo, doing some sprint sessions, and they've fared really well across the board. They're really lightweight and really easy to put on, which is really handy when you're doing those stop-start sort of sessions where you need to take the headphones off. There's no need when you're on the roads to turn down the music, you can hear everything around you. And then on the track as well, they're really handy because I can hear my coach. So if my coach is giving me instructions or shouting out times, there's no need to mess with these. So actually, once they're on, you kind of forget they're there and you can listen to your music, and it's really handy while you're running. I'll also say as well, something I didn't expect to really enjoy is just to have something that I can hang around my neck. So when I'm running, I'm normally in a vest and shorts and they might not have pockets. Being able to have these, easily take them off and wrap them around my neck and have no worry they're going to fall off, and no worry that they fall off when I'm running either. There's not really any movement there. It's just something I wasn't expecting and I think they've done really well with.
Let's talk about sound, and the thing to bear in mind with sound when it comes to a pair of bone conducting headphones is that you're not going to get the same kind of audio performance that you get from a pair of earbuds where they fill your ear canal, because those kind of earbuds have the benefit of completely sealing that hole and giving you the best possible bass response and treble and all that sort of stuff. So you do have to set your expectations for these pretty realistically, but if you get the right pair, and the Open Run Pro 2 are the right pair, trust me, they do sound unbelievably impressive. And remember, this sound is going into here. Well, not into there, it's vibrating against your bones basically. So the fact they managed to do that and it still delivers really good sound is very impressive. Part of the reason it does that is because it has this dual driver setup. So it has the bone conducting driver here, which sits just there, like I say, and it gives you those mids and the highs. And then it has air conduction. So an air conduction driver, which is here, which feeds the bass into your ear, which is ingenious because it kind of solves that issue of putting everything through the bone conducting driver. And if you've tried that in the past, you may have found that the bass starts to distort and it's just not very impressive. By distributing the sound frequencies between those two drivers, Shokz has achieved a really impressive sound. They call it dual pitch, and I've just noticed they've put dual pitch on here, which is very nice. But there's two things that you need from a pair of headphones like this. One of them is clarity and the other one is volume, because if you're running down a busy road and it's just a noisy environment where you still want to hear your podcast or your music, you need those two things to hear that stuff properly. And you need to hear that stuff without distortion. So it's three things actually: clarity, volume, and no distortion. These do that brilliantly. And as you'd guess, there's an algorithm in here. So it uses an algorithm for, they call it a dynamic 3D sound, which you can definitely hear because it does envelope you. It does create this kind of sense of the music or the podcast being all around you, which is fantastic, again, when you combine it with the transparency where you can hear everything going on around you. However, as always, not as always, in this particular video, I want to hand over to Niall because he's a runner. He does very impressive running compared to me. I just run down the road or do 5k on the treadmill. This is what he thought about the sound on the Open Run Pro 2.
So the sound I'd put into 3 categories: quality, clarity, and volume. The quality is, I'm no audiophile by any means, but the quality is great. I can hear everything really crisply and there's no kind of loss really from my understanding of the bass or anything like that. Don't tend to listen to really bassy things when I'm running anyway, but the quality of the sound is great. The clarity is lovely as well, so there's that fine mix of being able to hear the external things of the cars and the people and my coaches, but also really clearly hearing the music, and there was no loss of that. And they also, because they don't move a lot, there's no distortion when I'm running. The volume, that's something I was a bit cautious of with them being bone conduction, but actually it's something that surprised me really. They don't need to be cranked all the way up. They do go quite loud as well, so if you were in a loud, noisy environment, you can turn them up. But for running on a track, which can get quite busy, and running on the road, you can turn them up to a kind of a medium volume and absolutely fine. So sound-wise, I'd say, yeah, lovely.
So who are the Shokz? By the way, they are very durable. You can give these some serious stick. But who are the Shokz Open Run Pro 2 for? I think they're for several use cases. If you're really into your fitness in Niall terms or me terms, which there's quite a big difference there in terms of what we do, but the point being, running, hiking, cycling, professional sports, amateur, anything, these are, that they should be in your kit bag. Dog walking, in fact, anything outside where you want to be ultimately aware of what's going on around you, these make total sense. And just at home, if you're just pottering around and you want to hear what's going on in the house, but you still want decent audio, then these beat traditional earbuds, hands down. And even in the office, I've been wearing these around the studio for the last couple of days, and I've been taking calls on them, which they do very well. I know a lot of people want to know how headphones like these cope with calls, and they're built for them fantastically. I can hear the other person, they can hear me very clearly, and because they're so comfortable, you can just leave them on and go between calls without having to take them off and let your ears rest. It's very liberating. Shokz has once again done it. These are incredibly impressive, and I think for the price, they're a no-brainer if you fall into any of those categories. Find out more by clicking that link in the description, and if you've still got some time, hang around for a link to another video that I think you'll find very interesting.